Welcome to the Carr and Seguin Show, hosted by Devon Carr and Paul Seguin, where two Michiganders dive into real estate, outdoors, community building, and everything in between. We got a good show today.
I would agree.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yep.
We're pumped up for who we got in the house with us today.
VETLIFE.
We got Josh Parish from VETLIFE. We appreciate you coming on, man, and spending some time with us.
Yeah, it's truly an honor. Yeah, I appreciate it.
We're the ones that's honored.
Excited to be here. Yeah.
We got a veteran in the house, so that's always a cool thing that we're honored to be with, and obviously get to talk about your organization, VETLIFE, and what they're all about. But yeah,
no, we're pumped. I think one thing we just start off with: what is VETLIFE for those that aren't aware of you?
Sure. Yeah. So really, VETLIFE is an organization that was created by two Iraq War veterans and their wives. So we created the organization because what we saw from our own personal struggles after we left the military service was that as a whole, veterans just weren't being taken care of in the state of Michigan. And when I say not being taken care of, I mean veterans are entitled to certain benefits when they serve.
right.
And when they come back home, those benefits should be easily accessible, readily available, and waiting for them. And what we found was veterans weren't educated on their benefits. And the whole process really is, in my opinion, backwards, meaning that the
Sounds like government.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
so the government thinks that you should be coming to them to search out your benefits, but if
I just served you.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
right. I mean, if you don't understand what your benefits are, you're just kind of wandering around
Right.
aimlessly until you find your benefits. So,
Right.
Yeah, in a nutshell, we think we've positioned ourselves as a one-stop shop as opposed to having to go to several different places to find your benefits. We coordinate the benefits and bring all the resource providers down to the local level where we think you're going to have the best chance of success of obtaining your benefits. So we do that through targeted outreach events, which I'm sure we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But yeah, in a nutshell, we just want to increase access to benefits for veterans at a local level.
So tell us about kind of you, though. You, Josh Parish, your experience, obviously you served in the Iraqi
Correct, yeah.
Freedom War operations,
OIF,
right?
OIF, yeah.
So kind of tell us a little bit about your background and then obviously your own experience, right, of kind of what you walked through, because I know you have a story of just your own frustration, why VETLIFE came to existence where we're here today.
So where I grew up, and I actually didn't find this out until later, but there was a statistic that I found out later that the Native Americans, 90% of able-bodied males 18 and older serve in the military, which is a staggering statistic. Because Native Americans make up less than 1% of the population.
Right.
And yet 90% of them have served in the military. Yeah. So I grew up on a Native American reservation up in the Upper Peninsula, and I graduated with a class, I think, of around 13. Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
That was
Big
a crazy
town.
senior party there.
Yeah. So where I grew up, either you worked at the casino or you worked at the prison.
Really?
And I didn't want to do either. And so after high school, I stumbled around for a little bit, just like anybody else does. I tried college. I wasn't good at that back in the day. And I joined the military kind of on a whim. They promised you a bunch of money, said, oh, you get to travel the world. It'll be so much fun. And then really what it was is I spent, a year in a very hot country, sleeping on my truck and trying not to get shot or blown up. So I served from 2000 to 2008. And when I left the military, I met my now wife, and we had talked about, neither one of us want to work at, the prison or the casino. So let's just make a drastic change.
Yeah.
So she found Howell. So we ended up moving down to Howell. And so from 2008 till probably 2011, I just kind of reintegrated back into society, meaning I'd left the military behind. You know, it was hard to find benefits when I got out, so I just gave up.
Right.
And it wasn't until I started working for what's called Livingston County Veteran Services, which is a county VA office,
Okay.
Yep.
which are supposed to be located in spots that are conducive for veterans to not have to travel, 30, 40, 50, 60 miles to get their benefits. And what I realized is there's so many benefits out there for veterans, but again, veterans just don't understand what their benefits are, and the government doesn't really make it easy to understand those benefits.
Right.
So I worked for the county VA office. I was called a program director. Livingston County is unique because we collect property tax dollars to help fund through a millage. And I was able to create what my vision of, how we should be helping veterans. So believe it or not, Livingston County has a pretty high homeless veteran population.
Really?
We're a pretty affluent county.
Yeah.
And so we don't have those conversations, but I can't tell you how many times I'd come into work, whether it be in the spring, fall, winter, and a veteran would be sleeping in his car, and they'd say, listen, we hear that Livingston County is doing a great job of taking care of their veterans, so I need help. So what we would do is we would work with hotels, put the veteran up in the hotel, him and his family, her and their family, and we would, get them a hot meal, get them a good shower, and then we would bring the resources to the veteran at the hotel.
Heck yeah.
And it was almost 100% success rate.
Okay.
Yeah, to the point where we would find veterans that there was one veteran that we actually got involved in the Veterans Treatment Court that we stipulated that they had to enroll in the VA healthcare system. And the VA doctors actually found early signs of his cancer. So potentially saved his life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So went from being on the streets in the Veterans Treatment Court
getting complete service.
To getting complete service, having his own home, having a steady income. So,
jeez.
But so I really realized the good things
piece.
that the missing piece. And so I said, all right, let's see what we can do to fix that.
And how to do it better.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have a high bar to set, so we weren't doing a good job in the first place. So.
Right, which is just mind-boggling. I know we talked about this on the phone call. It's just like, and this isn't something new either, but it's that whole, like when you talked about before, is like you think that you've served a country that it shouldn't be difficult, right? I mean, putting your life on the line for our country, like there should be this... Here you go. We're not going to take care of you.
Right.
But you hear it so many that it's just like, it's like I said, it's backwards.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, see you later. Enjoy life. Hope your time with us was great.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah.
Which is crazy.
I would agree. I mean,
It's stupid. It's just beyond.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. It's FUBAR. But that's government too. Right?
Yeah.
At least when politicians run crap.
Yeah, and it's really funny too, because when I first started working in the veterans realm about 10, 11 years ago, there was such a general misconception. Everybody I spoke to in the civilian world was, I got this every single time I try to go to somebody and say, hey, listen, we need to do more for veterans. Oh, the government takes care of you guys real well. I'm like, well, I always say, what if I told you that Michigan has the 11th highest ranked veteran population in the country?
Really?
With around 600,000 veterans. But in 2019, less than 18% have ever been connected to a federal benefit. So,
oh, wow.
I mean, what is that? 450,000 veterans in the state of Michigan that have never, have no idea what their benefits are.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy numbers.
And not that Livingston County isn't, as proactive as they can be, but in 2019, Livingston County Veteran Services saw less than 1,000 veterans. So the key is outreach. You got to go to the veteran. You can't let them, you can't wait for them to come to you.
Right.
So,
jeez.
Yeah.
Those are staggering numbers.
I didn't realize we had that many veterans in our state either.
Well, Livingston County alone has 11,000 veterans.
Wow.
Yeah, 11,000 veterans, yet we're seeing less than 10% of the population. But we have all this money through this millage. So a little backstory, I worked for the county for about 5 or 6 years. I built the county up through transportation programs, homeless initiatives, you know, anything that I could think of where we could help veterans that, you know, in those unmet needs. And so after about 5 or 6 years, I would say that the state technically poached me. So I started... I went from overseeing operations for around 11,000 veterans to overseeing operations for around 65,000 veterans in a specific region for the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency, which is the state agency
level.
Yeah. So I went from being a program director to what's called a regional coordinator. And it's so funny. You'd think that, okay, at the county level, I could get it, you know, limited resources, but the state with a budget of $23 million a year.
Right.
And they're still doing just a horrible job. Just a poor, just abysmal job. And so the first year on the job with the state, they were like, oh, we want you guys to do these town halls. I'm like, ooh, great. You know, I can get 5 veterans. And what I found was I did probably 10 or 15 town halls and I'd get less than 100 veterans. So my wife and I sat down and we're like, man, what do veterans want? You know, they want to be able to take their family somewhere, enjoy a free event, not just for them, but for the family. So we came up with the concept of VetFest. Totally free event. Bring all the resources down to the local level, offer a bunch of things for the veterans. So we do free food, bands. Sometimes we'll have, you know, liquor tents, games, bounce houses, celebrities, you know, we'll have autograph signings. And in 2019, we had over 3,000 veterans and their families attend our event.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The most...
It's a lot better than 100.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the most beautiful part is that we worked in conjunction with the local VA offices. And what we saw is 1 month after our VetFest event, there was a 60% increase in veterans going to that office to access their benefits.
Wow.
So what we're doing is working.
Right.
So,
and I mean,
That's sweet.
that is sweet. I mean, you guys just got done with one not too long ago, right?
yeah, so we did it, I think, don't quote me, I think it was August 7th. And we were wary, you know, as the pandemic was winding down and we were afraid that people weren't going to come out in the numbers that we had expected.
Right.
Because one of those events, and mind you, it's completely free to the veteran and their family, but one of those events runs us $30,000 to $35,000.
All right.
So, I mean, free food, we bring food trucks, bands, you name it. We give away some pretty cool prizes too. You know, not pens and, you know, stickers and
like
stuff.
a koozie.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're giving prizes valued at $3,000.
Heck yeah.
So yeah. And that's why I think we're attracting such big numbers to the point where we had the city of Detroit a few years ago reach out to us and want to do a vet fest in the city of Detroit. We're going to call it Motor City Vet Fest. We'll hopefully do that in 2022.
Okay.
In 2022, we'll at least do the Livingston County one as well as a Kent County one as well.
Okay.
But we're trying to be strategic. We're trying to go to very high concentrated veteran populations.
Right.
Wayne, Oakland, Macomb has, I think, almost 200,000 veterans.
Heck
I think
yeah.
130, 140,000 veterans. And the entire UP, we want to do one up in Iron Mountain as well.
Oh, that would be
Nice.
cool. Yeah.
And so my goal is to show through different reports that Michigan, the veterans are being, you know, connected to their benefits, and we can do that through different reports that the government puts out. And if I can show that I can move the needle in a positive manner, then I can take that concept and I can move it to other states. You know, Iowa, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, you know, different states.
And implement these events.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And just keep growing it.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
Started out as a grassroots effort and taking it as a national nonprofit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of almost like how we talk all the time, obviously being in more in real estate, but it's just knowledge is power, right? Like, same thing with us, but it sounds like the same thing too. It's just they just don't know. And, you know, it sounds like there's a side of it that's where it's just like, I give up. It's just like, I remember you even saying like you had to drive from Lansing to Detroit to Ann Arbor, and you're getting like, well, no, you got to go there for that. And it's like, well, that's who just the last time told me to come here for that. And then so it's just like, you just like, screw this, I'm done.
Right.
I'm doing a rabbit race for no reason.
Yeah.
And then just if you guys just bring it together, like you said, all one, stop shop. and then you see the 60% increase. It's like it's no brainer,
Right? Yeah.
Why is it so difficult for veterans?
Well, and here's the crazy thing too. You know, I've been, like I said, I've been doing this veteran service provision, if you want to get technical, for the last 11 years. And so I consider myself to be somewhat of a subject matter expert on this. But I'll give you an example of why it's so hard, or why the government makes it so hard.
Right.
Yesterday, I was helping a veteran. He was denied disability compensation. So what disability compensation is, let's say that you're over in Iraq, Afghanistan, in a hostile area, you know, you get blown up, you lose your hearing, you have PTSD, just any injury that you incurred or aggravated on active duty service, the federal government will compensate you in, you know, money. And so this veteran was denied, and I said, all right, you know, let's write up a lay statement to show the injury. And by the time he got denied, and then we went to go submit the lay statement, it's called, which you can submit it through like a, you know, an online, you know, you can scan the sheet in and upload it. Yeah. The federal government had changed the process. So imagine I'm a 42-year-old veteran. I think I'm pretty smart, and intelligent, and, you know, technologically savvy. But imagine a Vietnam veteran, a Korea War veteran, who probably has my dad probably has a flip phone still. Yeah. You know, it's funny when my dad, he's about the Vietnam era. He never served, but it's funny because it reminds me when I come across other veterans of my dad of that era. Yeah. If he's got a flip phone and he's got 5 kids, if he misses a phone call, he doesn't know how to use caller ID. So he just randomly calls all of us until he gets.
Who called me?
Who called me? Yeah.
Did you call me?
Yeah, sometimes we'll play tricks on him. Like, no, Dad, nobody called. Yeah. But I'll tell you, I can't tell you how many Vietnam veterans would come in, and when I worked at the county or even the state level, they just bring me their phone in a box. Be like, can you help me set this up?
No way.
I'm like, yeah, turn it on. Right, yeah. Do this, do that, do that. There, you got a phone. So,
right.
Yeah. But yeah, the government just does not make it easy, like to the point where you have to randomly call somebody. I actually had to call what's called a veteran service officer just to try to get this guy to be able to upload his documents so he can get his disability rating.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So there's a study out there that said that a veteran, when they leave service, and I think this will make sense from what I just said. So when a veteran leaves service and acclimates back into the civilian life, on average, they'll ask for assistance 3 times. If they don't get that assistance by the 3rd time, they essentially just blend back into society and never access their benefits. Now, there's a running joke that each veteran is worth $1 million in benefits through, you know, health care, disability compensation, education, VA home loans is a good one too. Right. Yeah. So just think that, and this is the pitch that I give to Board of Commissioners or local governments. I say, what if we can increase the percentage of veterans getting to your county doors? It's going to create what's called an indirect economic benefit. And what that means is we know through a federal report called the GDX report, it's called Geographical Distribution of Expenditures. So essentially what that is, the federal government loosely tracks how many federal dollars are coming back into individual counties. Right. So we know that we see less than 10% of the population in Livingston County, but we've brought back $11 million in recoverables through, like I said, VA home loans, educational benefits, compensation. Yeah. What if I can get that number up to 20, 30, 40, 50? That's 22 million, 33 million, 44 million.
Right, yeah.
That's money that's being spent back in to stimulate the local economy.
Right.
So, I mean, that's how I get counties on board. Yeah.
Bro, yeah.
Yeah. Wait, you're pretty easy when you and all I got to do is just do what I'm doing?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll do it for you.
Yeah, I'll do it for you.
Yeah, right.
That's all I want to do. Just leave me alone. Let me do what I'm good at.
And I'll bring you an extra 20 million.
Yeah.
Okay?
Boom. There you go.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
How couldn't you be on board to that?
Smoking crack every night.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
So I operate off of a pretty simple credo. I called it KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Right. Just, let me do what I'm good at and, get out of my way and I'll make you look good.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that's usually what it is. It's
right.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
And And I mean, clearly when you're talking to government run stuff, you know, they're just like, oh, okay, if you're going to do it, well, we don't do much anyway. So go ahead. Let me know how it goes. And then you show up like, yeah, remember that 20 million I was showing you about? Look at your your GXC report now, buddy. Yep. You're welcome.
Exactly.
So you want to start dealing some more events, right? Sponsor some more stuff, open some more doors. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not a bad way to do it.
No, not bad.
So you guys got some more event. You got something coming up though, right?
Yeah. So
another event around the Thanksgiving time. I mean, you guys do a ton.
We do, and
which is awesome.
One of the best parts of VetLife, you know, what I did is I looked at all the nonprofits that designated themselves as kind of veteran related in the state of Michigan, and I looked at the pros and cons. I try to be as analytical as I can. What's working, what's not working.
Right.
And one thing that was really across the board that I never saw any of these other nonprofits doing was really involving the local community. So what we found, Livingston County, for example, so I worked with Sheriff Murphy. I think he was undersheriff back then when I worked at the county, or when I first started working for the state. And we created this program called veteran-friendly employers. So if you could show that you had X amount of veterans on your staff, we would designate you as gold, silver, or bronze. Just kind of show appreciation and give you an incentive to hire more veterans.
Right.
So with Murph, or maybe it was Bazat or whoever it was, but I said, all right, can you tell me how many veterans that you have working either as a first responder, EMS, fire, police, over at the jail? And I think back then it was somewhere around 29 to 34% of their staff was prior military.
Huh.
So I always kept that in the back of my mind. So when we first started doing any event, any targeted outreach event, whether it be, you know, our little troops on the field or our Harvest for Heroes, we would always include first responders.
Yeah.
So give you an example, at our Vet Fest event, we invited the Michigan State Police, the Fowlerville Police Department, because that's where we held the event, and Livingston County Sheriff. And why I do that is the day and age we live in right now, you know, that a lot of people have very distasteful opinions on law enforcement.
This is stupid.
So I have two brothers up in the UP that are police officers.
Yeah.
They mean the world to me.
Myself.
Yeah. And if anything ever happened to them, and I'm sure you can attest to this, it would break my heart.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, both my brothers have kids. They have wives. They take those boots off. They take that badge off, and they're just an everyday civilian.
Yeah. Right.
So
they're a dad, they're a husband, they're a son or brother. Everything.
Trying to break down the barriers and show that police, you know, are no different than, you know, you or I.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then to get back to our Harvest for Heroes event, what we do is we give away turkey baskets and Thanksgiving baskets. And I think in the last 7 or 8 years, because this predated VetLife, I started this when I worked for the county. I think we've given away somewhere north of at least 4,000 turkey baskets.
Heck yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. And what we do is like I said, we'll invite first responders to hand out the baskets.
Sweet.
Or, you know, JROTC, you know, or just, you know, some way to integrate the community into the process.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys got Battle of the Bags, a cornhole tournament.
Yeah.
I just won that at my church, by the way. So I might have to show up and take champs on that one.
You should. Yeah.
But adopt a veteran family, Harvest for Heroes, like you just mentioned, the Vet Fest, which seems to be more of like the main event, but you've grown off of that. Boots and Brews.
So the Boots and Brews is a fundraiser. What I'm really most proud of, other than our Vet Fest and our Harvest for Heroes, I mean, they're all great programs.
Right. Yeah.
But I received just a random message from the Michigan State Police headquarters a couple of years ago, and they were like, "Hey, we love what you're doing." I'm like, "You love it? How do you know what I'm doing? At the state level, you know what I'm doing?" And they're like, "We'd really love to incorporate what you do into our recruit class." Because like I said earlier, the sheriff's department had, let's say, for sake of argument, 30% was, you know, prior military. Right. So I had the person I was working with, I said, "Can you tell me how many in your recruit class because the state police does 2 recruit schools every year to recruit new troopers.
Yeah.
And what we found is about 35 to 40% of that
military background.
Yeah, we're prior military. Huh. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of twofold, give these guys and girls that weren't yet police officers, you know, a sense of purpose. Because that's one of the things that veterans, they struggle with when they leave the military, is losing that sense of purpose, losing that sense of camaraderie, being proud of what you do and who you do it with. And so we created this program called Warmth for Warriors. Awesome program. I couldn't have choreographed it any better. So the guy so essentially what Warmth for Warriors is, it's an event to raise money to purchase these really cool parkas that turn into sleeping bags. Because right now, homeless people, you know, they get, and I don't want to swear, but they get crap stolen from them because they're constantly moving.
Yeah, right.
With these parkas that turn into sleeping bags, when they're done sleeping in the sleeping bags, they turn into, like I said, a jacket.
Yeah.
So the gentleman
who's a smart dude who came up with that
right,
idea?
Right.
That's fabulous.
And it's crazy because the person that I was connected with that distributes the coats was a retired commander of the Michigan State Police.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it just happened. I'm like, hey, Chuck. And he's like, hey, did you know I was retired? I did 23 years in the Michigan State Police. So what we did is we did a 5K fundraiser. I have a Navy SEAL friend, and I'm not going to say his name because he kind of botched the jump that day. But so he was supposed to jump in to kick off the event, and he misgauged the wind, and he ended up on the highway.
No!
Yeah. Oh. So we had to send the Michigan State Police out to pick him off the highway.
Oh my gosh.
News crews are there and everything.
Oh, no.
He's like, please don't show this. So we raised enough money that first year to purchase, God, I think almost 150 coats.
Holy
So we distributed them in the Ann Arbor, Washtenaw County, and Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb area.
Jesus.
Yeah, literally went around handing these coats out to homeless veterans.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
very cool.
And the best part about it is when these guys and girls graduate from the academy and they go back to their individual posts, you know, whether it's Sault Ste. Marie, Newberry, you know, whatever county, whatever post they go to. Right. Now they get to go and talk about VETLIFE and then kind of give back to the local community the way that, you know, I'm trying to give back.
Yeah.
So they're my mouthpiece there.
Right.
Yeah.
Just planting seeds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, best form of marketing.
Absolutely.
So
it is the best. It's just cool. I mean, it just gets me all fired up to like want to do something as well. Just because it's so like it shouldn't be this difficult,
right,
to help. You know. But then obviously that's why you got guys like you who make it possible and you know can team up to in many ways. Obviously all these events and just keep growing and sharing and that's why I mean we wanted to bring them on. It's just like cool. So
this one still gives me goosebumps. We had a local police officer. I won't say his name, but he was law enforcement and a veteran himself. Man's man, you know, tough guy, do 100 pull-ups, stuff like that, and developed a very rare form of brain cancer. And he ended up passing away, but he left behind 2 kids. And if you know anything about the military world and the law enforcement world, once family, always family.
Right.
And so we surprised the 2 kids, the Michigan State Police recruits, the first year of our Warmth for Warriors, sponsored this family. And you can see the pictures on the website.
Okay.
But what we did is we kind of tricked the kids into thinking, you know, hey, we're going to go meet some of my daddy's friends.
Right. Yeah.
And the look on this little girl's face when we gave them, I mean, they must have got each like 30 presents. It was so crazy. She got a new bike and knew this and knew that. And so we've committed to sponsoring that family ourselves. I mean, we sponsor, I think, around 50 kids every year for the Christmas Give Back program. But we've committed to sponsor that family until the last little girl. I think she's 7 or 8 now, until she turns 18.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So, yeah.
Oh, man, that's phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're just good people, too.
Right.
That's a lot of toys.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a lot of toys.
I'm looking at these pictures. That's a lot.
That is a lot of toys.
Holy smokes.
So I was really poor growing up. Like really, and my mom always gets so pissed when I tell this story. But I wear it as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
You know, when I grew up, we'd each get maybe 1 or 2 presents. I mean, for the better part of my childhood, we grew up in a trailer, and I had to sleep with my grandma every single night. She was a smoker, and all we did was watch Lonesome Dove every single night. So when I got older and I had kids of my own, I said, all right, you know what? I'm always going to make sure that they have things better than I did growing up.
Right.
And so we adopt that approach with the Christmas program. I saw some of these, and I'm not knocking anybody, but some of these other programs out there that purchase Christmas presents for families, they get like 1 or 2 presents and a stocking stuffer with like $1 toy in there.
Right.
We're getting like 10 toys for each kid.
Oh, dude.
You know, I mean, we're
these
hooking
are
these kids up.
tableful.
Right.
Yes.
With legit, like, I want toys.
Yes. And I'll never, under my watch, I'll never let any veteran kid go without. I mean, to the point where I think one time it was Christmas Eve. You know, the morning of Christmas Eve, we got a call. We had ended up closing registration, and I got a call, and my wife was like, "No, we got to go." You know, so we went out and we went to like 3 different stores to try to get all their wish list stuff.
No way.
And all we did, just drop them off with the wrapping paper and the bows and everything, and then just let them do their thing.
Yeah.
So we don't want the credit. We just want to make sure that they're getting the presents that they should.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Now people can
Freaking awesome.
donate to this stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
So if you go on our website, it's www.vetlifetoday.org/donate. You can donate through the website. I mean, you can donate on our Facebook page. And, you know, the beauty of us is if you go on Charity Navigator, 100% of what you donate to us goes back to the cause.
Right.
None of us take a salary, nothing. You know, everything you donate goes right back to the programs that we put out.
And that's fantastic. We recently had somebody else on the Dave Fonz Memorial Fund, and they're the same exact way. They donate. Everything that's donated
100%.
goes right back to the charity and the cause, I guess you would say.
Heck
But,
yeah.
I mean, the list of things that you guys do is just monumental. I mean, really.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not like you do one thing in the winter and then, I mean, it's always constantly. It seems like you guys have some sort of event for summer, fall, winter. I mean, just constant.
Yeah.
Help supporting.
And so what I found was, you know, I'm a vet, I got a wife, and I got 4 kids. A lot of the events that I used to go to as a veteran were tailored towards
Just
the veteran.
Yeah.
And they weren't fun. I mean, they're really not fun. I mean, if I needed a refrigerator magnet or a pen or a bumper sticker, or what's
where I
really
would go.
weird is you'd go to these events and they'd be like, "Don't drink, but here's a koozie." You know? Okay, thank you. Thank you, VA, and all of your infinite wisdom. So we sat down and we're like, you know what? We want every event we do to be very family friendly. Because unfortunately, right now, when these service organizations like your VFW, your American Legion, your Vietnam Veterans of America, all of these organizations used to be very popular back in Korea, Vietnam era, prior to social media.
Right.
A lot of what we're finding is a lot of these younger veterans like myself, they're not wanting to go to these, you know, VFW halls, American Legions.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is kind of create another way for veterans to be able to
Stay connected.
come together, stay connected, and
Camaraderie,
not,
like you talked about.
not lose that sense of purpose, but also involve the family, the spouse. And again, that was some of my best ideas are unplanned, and the light bulb just goes off. And I helped start a veterans treatment court. Well, actually, I didn't help. I started a veterans treatment court in Livingston County. So essentially what a veterans treatment court is, it's an intensive treatment court in lieu of jail or probation. What we do is we pair you up with a mentor. So let's say hypothetically that you're a vet, you leave here today, you go get a DUI. If we can show that your excessive drinking was because of you saw your friend pass away over in Iraq or Afghanistan, or you know you got blown up or this or that, we don't think that just sending you to jail is going to do any
fix
good.
anything.
Right.
Yeah, it's not going to reduce the recidivism rate.
Right.
What we do is we do, it's a 12 to 18 month program. We pair you up with a mentor, which is another veteran that kind of walks you through the process. And I was sitting in the court one day and I'm like, okay, I'm looking to the left, looking to the right. And I see this veteran every 2 weeks, they have to go up in front of the judge and be like, I'm doing good. I'm doing better. Mm-hmm. And I look in the back and I see this wife, the veteran's mom, and his 2 or 3 kids. And I'm like, oh man, that just makes perfect sense. So what I found was once we involved the family in the process, the recidivism rate dropped to almost 0%.
Jeez.
Meaning he or she didn't reoffend.
Yeah.
But the ones that were going through it alone were the ones that, you know, kind of
they
lost
had no
their
support
way.
system.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Yep. So yeah, we're just trying to connect all the dots for veterans.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Because I don't care what, I mean, not to take aside from like being a veteran, but like, I mean, you're not supposed to go through life alone.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have support, like you're just going to keep going back into your old ways. I mean, that's just the way it is. And sometimes support is kind of that harsh love of, hey man, we need to fix this. And here's how we nip it in the butt.
Right. Absolutely.
But I mean, that's freaking kudos to you, dude. I mean, that's just freaking sweet.
Thank you.
You know, I mean, it's just taking what you see and just making it possible.
Right.
For veterans just to have the support, the camaraderie, the friendship, the closeness, and just doing it together, not alone.
Yeah.
Because it is. I think you kind of, from what it sounds like, is just, like you said, the government just kind of gives you that don't trip on the back door and good luck. Thanks for your service, but don't come back.
and no disrespect to the organizations that do these suicide walks or, you know, walks for this. But, okay, we've identified there's an issue. Now, what are you going to do about it?
Right.
Walking from here to Lansing isn't going to make anything better. No. You know what's going to...
You're not helping the individual.
Answer the phone. Connect the veteran to their benefit. You know, I do want to connect one veteran at a time, but there's only one of me. There's only one of my wife. There's only one of team members. Mm-hmm. I need to do this at a mass level. You know, I need to put on these events that are 2, 3, 4, 5,000, down even to the smaller scale, you know, 300-400 at a time. Because that's what I need. I need to start showing that we can move the needle in the right direction.
Right.
And these events are what's working.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a no-brainer. I mean, you, being like like, you know, when we just mentioned you're like a BNI group, right?
Yeah.
It's networking.
Right.
Those things are really good business-wise because what happens? You make connections.
Yes.
In these events, when you're bringing 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 veterans together, what do you think's going to happen? Connections.
Yeah. Right.
Friendships.
Exactly.
Like the camaraderie, like, dude, are we best friends? Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Did we just become best friends?
Right. Yeah. You know, and it's like, it's kind of just a dull moment. Like, what are you guys all been doing? Like, walking from here to Lansing, it's great, but what's next? And it's like, that's what it seems like you guys are.
Yeah.
And it's not only just that what's next step, it's this, here are the steps.
Yeah.
And we'll hold your hand and we'll direct you and guide you right through it.
And that's it too. I mean, I've been there. You know, I have no problem holding anybody's hand. You know, the first couple times. Yeah. After that, you should figure it out yourself. But, yeah.
Comes a point where the lines cross.
Yeah. Stay the shit or get off the pot.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but that's the beauty of veterans is we check ourselves, and that's what I love. Like in Veterans Treatment Court, if one guy was screwing up, the other guys would be like, get your shit on, man. You know, you were an 0311 infantry grunt in the Marine Corps. You were 11 Bravo. You were this, you were that. You escaped death. I think you'll be okay. Yeah. You can not have a beer. It's okay. So when the pandemic first hit, I mean, you know, it kind of shit hit the fan. A lot of people went really, you know, nutso. Yep. I put on my LinkedIn because I'm not the biggest fan of social media anymore, just because everybody's really mean to each other.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
Facebook, Instagram. It's like you could put a picture of a puppy and have somebody be like, "You're abusing puppies."
Right? Yeah.
Put a picture of my dog.
I know.
Yeah. Call PETA. Yeah. But
that is find something to freaking point out. Right? Everybody does. It's stupid.
Oh yeah, one eyebrow.
Yeah.
All right, no, you're fine. Yeah. So I use LinkedIn a lot because to me it's a professional type Facebook.
Right.
You know, I'm not getting those nasty comments. So I put on LinkedIn. I said right when the pandemic hit, I said, hey, any vets out there? I don't care if it's 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, whenever. Just if you need somebody, call me. And I had this male veteran reach out, and he said, hey, I'm having some struggles. What can we do? And we were still on lockdown.
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever, man. Whatever you want. He's like, let's just go for a walk. So we ended up kind of not really breaking in over, the one of the Brighton parks, but we just casually wandered in. Yeah. Nobody was there. But man, we must have walked around for an hour, 2 hours, maybe, just kind of shooting the shit. Just, like old veterans do. And we're sitting down on one of these benches, and I'll still never forget it. He's like, you know what? He's like, you gave me a renewed sense of, people care about me. He's like, I didn't think anybody cared about me. And if we're being brutally honest, I was going to go home and kill myself tonight. And I was like, holy shit, Yeah. But I wonder how many other veterans are out there that are going through that same struggle.
Right.
And I bring that up not to, pat myself on the back or anything, but back then I'm the same person, now. If you have, any struggles, reach out to us at VetLife Today on Instagram, LinkedIn, any social media, reach out to us. I will literally come to your house. I will go for a walk with you, my team, anything. We'll do anything you want within reason. Right. Yeah. Not going to rob a bank with you.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, you know what? I think that's a lot of these people just need that right now. They just need somebody to know
connection
that they care about each other.
Yeah.
And I think we've lost that. So
100%. I mean, we need face to face. We're made to connect.
Yeah.
And when it's kind of that forced, like, oh no, you might have this deadly disease, and
right, yeah.
You look at each other now like, oh, you're disgusting, or the air is disgusting. Like, it's been in existence for how long, and we've done just fine.
Yeah,
trust me, one little virus didn't get just disrupt the whole world. Oh man, it's funny, where'd the flu go?
I go to the gym, and if you inadvertently cough, it was like,
oh yeah,
holy shit,
yeah, right.
I know.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Or if you sneeze, it's like, bro, I've sneezed my whole life.
Yeah.
It's all right. Pretty natural.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm sick.
Right.
Yeah.
Freaking A.
It is a crazy time, I'll tell you.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So, but we're rocking and rolling, man. We got events lined up. We got, I think, 2 more this year, and then starting in January, at least 6 to 8 events again. Our goal, we've been building the team up, but our goal is for next year to hold at least 8 events.
Nice.
That's great.
Yeah. And you can go on our website, and it'll show all of our events. We'll be updating our calendar of events here pretty quick for 2022.
Okay.
And people can volunteer to help. We
love volunteers. I'll tell you. We had a lady at our last event, and this is crazy. She drove from Benton Harbor. That's a good 2.5 hours. Yeah. Her and her husband just showed up randomly, both vets, and they're like, we don't care. Tell us what you want us to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I said, can you go grab the water? And I figured she'd do it for an hour. She was there the entire event. So we gave them T-shirts. We gave them koozies, because, I think veterans should be able to enjoy a couple of libations,
Well,
yeah.
They earned it.
They earned it. I would say. But yeah, we do have an active volunteer list. So normally what we do is like our Harvest for Heroes event, we need people to help us, stock the turkey baskets. Yeah. So it's not just a turkey or a ham. It's all the food for a family of 4 to 6.
For Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah, pumpkin pies, you name it.
Yeah, freaking way.
Yeah. So we do need people. They can reach out to us on social media or submit the volunteer request form on our website. But yeah, so the more the merrier for that. Because the first 2 years my wife and I did it, it took us like 2 days.
Oh yeah,
we're stocking all these stupid baskets. It's worth it. It's worth it. Yeah. But this sucks. Yeah. So
give me another beer.
Right? Yeah. Give me my Busch Light apple.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So you volunteer, donate, help. What's the big next steps? I know you kind of mentioned a little bit that you wanted to grow even outside of Michigan. How's that looking?
We do. So I'm all about strategic partnerships,
right?
And I never feel compelled to do this, and they never tell me that I need to. I just love to do it. And I know there's some common kinship with the two of you, but Gold Star Mortgage really saw my vision from the onset. Yeah. They were like, whatever you need. I'm like, yeah, okay, all right, you're going to regret that. And every year they keep coming back. And I'm telling you, the team over there, the AJs, the Keiths, the Katies, the Martys, I mean, and I'm going to forget a few names, but they're just absolute rock stars. And whatever they need, whatever I need, they give me. Whether that be, you know, donations or just volunteer staff or just support.
Yeah.
What we've been doing, again, you know, to get out to the mass media is these educational videos. So like I said, very early on in the podcast, veterans just don't understand what their benefits are.
Right.
Like simple stuff like how to enroll in VA healthcare, how to apply for disability compensation. So I sat down with AJ and I said, AJ and Katie, I want to start doing these 30 to 60 second educational tutorial videos.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid, you know, just whet the appetite. All right, go to this website. So we started creating these little videos that you can go on our YouTube page. So if you have any questions about your educational benefits, how to, you know, find a veteran service officer, what a county VA office is, we want to answer all your questions because I know that realistically, I'm just one person. You know, I can't help the 600,000 veterans in the state of Michigan.
Right.
But my lofty goal is in the next 10 years to at least screen every single veteran in the state of Michigan. Now, what I mean by that is just because you're a veteran doesn't mean you're entitled to every single benefit out there.
Right.
But at a baseline, you should be able to utilize your VA home loan. That's a phenomenal, I mean,
Heck yeah.
it's great. I don't know why anybody would not use it. The GI Bill paid for my law school, post 9/11, and the, you know, voc rehab benefits paid for my law school, $125,000.
Right.
Gave me a stipend, paid for all my books, gave me a laptop. Those are benefits that veterans don't know are out there, but they are, and they're real easy to get. You just got to apply for them.
Right.
And they just don't know.
Yeah. So these educational videos are really what I'm hoping in the next couple of years. Now that I would say the pandemic's, you know, over in a sense. I don't want to get in trouble by anybody. But I mean, I think we've got a good grasp on it.
All right.
My goal is to start getting all of these educational videos in like the Secretary of State's office or, you know, just government buildings. And I don't want anything. I just want to make sure that every veteran has
Opportunity to see
the
it.
opportunity to see
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So, I mean, to the point where I think we had talked about putting it on the Jumbotron at the Detroit Lions, but then COVID hit and then everybody was like, nope, we're not doing anything forever. So
forever.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I've started to revisit those conversations. But yeah, like I said, I'd like to get them on the Jumbotron at the Lions, the Tigers, the Red Wings, the soccer. I don't care. Anywhere you're going to find veterans.
Right.
I just put my video up there for 30 seconds and then we'll connect you to your benefits.
Heck yeah.
So
That would be very cool.
yeah.
Dude, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Be on a Jumbotron for a Lions game.
Yeah.
Quick little 30-second video.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, dude, I'm sure you'd get some live phone calls.
Do it as a
Yeah.
PSA. Yeah.
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 Right.
Well, and the beauty of it is there's 83 counties in the state of Michigan. And I testified in front of the legislature years ago because I asked each county, what's prohibiting you from helping more veterans? They always said money. All right, I'll fix that. So I went to the legislature and I worked with Jason Wentworth, who's the Speaker of the House. He's a veteran himself. So I said, Jason, let's create this thing called the County Veteran Service Fund. And so essentially what that does is it gives each county around somewhere between $80,000 and $100,000 a year. So out of that available pot of money to help with their veteran service provision. All right, so now you got the money. Let's outreach more so you can see more veterans. So now that I'm, you know, playing my chess game, putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, now when I go out and I get on the Detroit Lions, now what we're doing is we're saying, all right, you know, Devon or, you know, whoever the veteran is, what county are you in? Right. Iosco County or, you know, Traverse City, Grand Traverse County. All right, we'll connect you to our counterpart over there. So we're covering the entire state of Michigan.
Right.
So any veteran that comes to our website, our social media, we'll connect you that day. You know, we do what's called warm handoffs. So right now, when I worked for the state of Michigan, if a veteran called into the resource center, they'd be like, here's 12 numbers, call them. and the shit part about it was 6 or 8 of those numbers were out of service.
Right.
Oh my
So again,
gosh.
that goes back to that asking for assistance 3 times.
Right,
And you just
yeah.
kind of blend back in. So what I do is I make sure that I'll call Iosco County and say, hey, Mary, I got Brett over here as a veteran. He needs help. Brett, this is Mary, you know?
Right.
And
Boom.
we connect the dots.
Right.
And it's not a handout, it's a hand up.
Right.
You know, everybody needs a little assistance every now and then. And that's what we're here for. So,
Heck yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I could see that being very distasteful. Just going for help and then they give you 12 numbers and you called 6 and
Oh my God.
nothing works.
And I did it myself. I'm always a glutton for punishment. When I first worked for the state, they gave us what's called these quarterly roll-ups, meaning they just gave us a Excel spreadsheet with about 10,000 phone numbers on it. But the crap part about it is, okay, so I took a random sample of like 250 emails that were supposed to be veteran service providers, and I uploaded them into MailChimp. And if you know anything about MailChimp, it's just a gigantic email blast for them. But the funny part about it is they like 45% of the emails bounced back, and so they suspended my account and said it was a spam account. I'm like, just think, you know, if a veteran's calling Jill over at, you know, this, you know, organization, and Jill's no longer there, you know, the employee turnover was so terrible. So it makes sense why veterans were getting frustrated. But at the county level, they've been here since 1899. Those guys aren't going anywhere.
Jeez.
That's why I always said when I started working for the state, I said, you guys need to develop those relationships with the counties, because those are your boots on the ground right there.
Right.
Just give them the money and let them be, you know, let them do their thing. But it was, you know, nobody likes to play nice in the sandbox.
Right.
It's like the federal government doesn't like the state government, doesn't like the county government, and vice versa. So
We're all playing against each other.
Right.
yeah. But now I'm in the private sector. I can do whatever the hell I want.
Right, yeah.
I don't got to answer to anybody anymore. So
No, I
except
like
for
how,
my wife.
I like. There's always a boss.
Right, yep.
I love you, honey.
No, but I like that part where it's like just playing chess. It's like, all right, we need money. Okay, I'll figure this out. I'll put just like it. Just bring in the veterans. Just let's bring everyone together and make the connections, and then we'll get the money to make it happen.
You know, I
No one in the
look at
government level is going to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I always try to bring my lawyering skills in sometimes, you know, like on a cross-examination, like I'll paint your back against that corner, you know, just tell me what you need.
Right,
Real
yeah.
nice. But by the end of it, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. I got it all.
I got it all. Yeah.
You did say.
Yeah, right.
that
Got you
if
what you needed.
You needed this.
Now you're going to do it.
Here's your package.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yep. So,
Have a good day.
thank you for your service.
Yes. Well, good.
Perfect.
Heck yeah.
Absolute pleasure, guys.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
Awesome.
I learned a ton. I mean, I really did. I didn't know there was that many veterans, and that obviously I knew it was always an issue of them receiving their benefits, but never.
I'm excited to make
ours.
some Thanksgiving baskets.
Yeah, we would love to have you.
Heck yeah.
Love to have you.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
That's the
you don't
least
have
I
to be
can
a
do.
veteran to be a volunteer.
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, not at all. No, and I think
People
that
helping
kind of
people.
breaks down the barriers too. Let's you know, the civilian population, because right now veterans are civilians right now anyway. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, there's no reason not to connect.
Heck no.
Yeah. So.
Well, one last time, if they want to get a hold of your organization, what's the best way for them to?
Sure. So my wife, like I said earlier, you know, we went through probably 100 different websites and saw what worked and what didn't work. You know, it's got to be a user-friendly website, real easy to navigate. So I would say, two things. Go to our website, pretty easy, www.vetlifetoday, V as in veteran, VETLIFETODAY.org, or go on our Facebook at VetLife Today. We try to do some, pretty constant updates on there about our events and just pertinent information throughout the county or through the state. So yeah, I would say those two avenues probably the best way to get a hold of us. Our social media director is very good about keeping tabs on when responding relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
It's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, dude. Again, we're honored. Appreciate
Yeah,
Josh
absolutely.
coming on,
love doing this.
sharing the vet life story, and hopefully anybody out there listening is inspired and can help and volunteer in any way. So
We hope so.
yeah,
Grow the network.
that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Perfect.
So, Well, I'm Paul Seguin with EXP.
And I'm Devin Carr with Gold Star Mortgage.
This is the Seguin and the car.
The Seguin.
The car
and
the Seguin show.
Yes, yes.
See ya.
See ya.
Peace out. Yeah. Awesome.
The primary purpose of this podcast series is to inform, entertain, and educate. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast series do not constitute legal or professional advice, opinions, or endorsements of any kind. Gold Star Mortgage Financial Group, NMLS 3446, Equal Housing Lender.